Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. Today, we are chatting all things AEW Dynamite. It was the go-home show into AEW Full Gear, the November 10th edition of AEW Dynamite. I am very excited to talk today about today's show because we kind of had a lot of really cool stuff happen throughout the entire show. I think we kind of got a little bit more that we bargained for on today's show. We also got lots of really cool matches, lots of good wrestling, so there's plenty to talk about. Additionally, we closed out the show with a really fun, I think, one of my favorite contract signings that I've seen in a while. Definitely up there, definitely good stuff. So we're going to talk about all of that in just a second. Before we get into everything, I do want to welcome each and every single person onto the show, whether this is your first time here or your second or your fifth, whatever the case may be. Thank you guys so much for giving me a shot and coming on here to watch this show. Also, if you haven't noticed, this is a different microphone that I'm using right now. If you guys were here the last two shows, I've been having issues with my audio because one of my wires is busted and F4W is sending me a brand new wire, but that's not getting here until tomorrow. So hopefully by then I will be back with my normal setup. But as of right now, I'm using my emergency travel podcast mic for this podcast. But either way, we're going to talk about Dynamite. Additionally, I do want to let you guys all know that this is a very interactive show. So while you're here, make sure to send in your thoughts, your comments, whatever you guys want in the chat. If you want to make sure your question or your statement gets read on this stream, please feel free to send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat on this show, I will read your comment. Additionally, all super chats really do help me out because I get to keep 100% of all the proceeds from all super chats. Also, before we get into the show, I know I have like a million announcements. Tomorrow, I am going to be live at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing AEW Full Gear predictions with none other than Lance Storm. So that is going to be happening here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, since I will not be here on Friday to talk about Rampage or Smackdown the way I normally am, because I'm going to be in Minneapolis and I'm going to be at AEW Rampage. So I won't be able to do a post show. But in order to make up for that, I'm going to be doing the prediction show with Lance Storm. So now let's go ahead and get into the show, everybody. Let's talk some Dynamite. All right, here we go. Let's kick things off with our first super chat. And this one is from Darth Steven C77, who says, let's have some fun. You're the best, Denise. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate all the love and support from each and every single person that sends all of the love in. Before we get into everything, send me your overall thoughts on Dynamite. If you were in the chat, send in your overall thoughts. I kind of want to get a general consensus for how everybody felt about the show. We got a Twitch comment from a Bailey TV who says that Dante Martin, Leo Rush, Matt Sydal, Lee Moriarty match, I'm assuming you wanted to say that it rocked, because it did. It was definitely one of the best matches of the night. I'm not surprised. Last week when we were talking about the preview for this show, I knew that this match was going to be good. And we got a lot of really good wrestling on this show today. A lot of different stuff with a lot of different people. And we'll talk about that momentarily here. Doppelganger 399 makes a joke saying, before any contract signing, inspect the cameraman. Who would have thought? Who would have thought the damn cameraman wasn't who he was supposed to be? Seems to me like Tony Khan needs to run a tighter ship back there, because there'd be people pretending to be cameramen, and that is just wrong. We got a comment from Chris Schneider who says that great in-ring wrestling here tonight. We got a comment from Ryan who says that it was a pretty lame build for the pay-per-view, but Miro Danielson, CM Punk got him hyped, so he's gonna order it. Look, in terms of this being like a really strong build for AEW Full Gear, I wouldn't say that it was a strong build going into AEW Full Gear, but I will say this though, there was a lot of good stuff on the show, and I think that given the, like, for example, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, because that contract signing was so good, I can't necessarily say that I don't think that maybe in its all of its entirety, it wasn't maybe the strongest go home show, but I still thought that it was a very, very good show. Overall, a lot of awesome stuff. And we got a lot of people here putting over the show for it being awesome. And I got to agree, there was a lot of good stuff. It just didn't feel like they were pushing so much a lot of the stories. Like you had a lot of matches that made sense as to why they were doing them heading into the pay-per-view, but I wouldn't say, I think there was more wrestling versus more angles and more, all of that extra stuff that they tend to do on Dynamite. I think today we got a little bit more of a wrestling focused show, and they also packed in a lot of different matches throughout the entire night. So you kind of saw like bang, 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 like match after match after match, which is what I really enjoyed. And a lot of people are really putting this over, really putting over this show and this match. Exactly. We got a comment from Kevin, who's also putting over that ending. Can't wait for Saturday. We got people saying that Dynamite today was great, a 4 out of 5. Labor Day says terrific show, top to bottom, full of great matches and logical conclusions. I think for the most part, people love this show, and I agree. They did a really good job putting this show together. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump into what actually went down on this Dynamite show prior to AEW Full Gear. So let's do this. All right. We kicked off the night with one of the matches that I personally was most looking forward to. And if we didn't have that tag team match, I probably would have said that this was match of the night, maybe alongside Dax and Pac, because that was pretty good too. But I think that Bryan Danielson, Rocky Romero should not be slept on. If you're sleeping on Bryan Danielson, Rocky Romero, wake up, because this match was freaking awesome and I really, really enjoyed it. So, and I don't know, like in terms of like crowd reaction watching from home, I do think the people were more, wild and crazy for the Dax Pac match and also for that tag team match than they were for this match. But I think for me and my personal taste and what I wanted to see, I think that this match was definitely up there as my second favorite match of the night. Almost was going to be my first, because I'm a big fan of Rocky Romero and I just think he's freaking awesome. And obviously everybody's a fan of Bryan Danielson. But while watching this match though, one of the things that I was just thinking to myself, and this is something that everybody has sort of already noticed, and this has been something that has been talked about, but seeing Bryan Danielson, really going into AEW and having all of these different matches with all of these different competitors, it's kind of been very exciting to kind of see who he's going to mix it up in the ring with next. Like when they announced this match with Rocky Romero, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know that this was the direction that, not the direction that they were going with, but I didn't know this was going to be a match that we were going to be seeing down the line. I feel already ever since Bryan came into AEW, people have been like, oh, I can't wait to see this match. I can't wait to see this match. I don't think the Rocky Romero one was there, obviously, because of the Forbidden Door and, all of that good stuff. But it was one of those things that kind of felt like a bonus, like, oh, we got a bonus. Here we go. Like that's what this match felt like. And when you start to look at the list of competitors in which Bryan Danielson has wrestled already in his short period in AEW, it's kind of insane. You have Anthony Bowens, young guy, but still, nice to see him in the ring with Bryan Danielson. Eddie Kingston, which that was a phenomenal match, got itself a standing ovation. Aaron Solo, decent enough. Dustin Rhodes, which was the Dustin Rhodes Bryan Danielson match was highly praised by Tony Khan. And then the Bobby Fish match was really good stuff too. The Minoru Suzuki match was literally broke everybody in terms of excitement. The Nick Jackson match, the Kenny Omega match. So when you really think of all of the opponents that he's had, and then today Rocky Romero, you can't help but to say, like, man, Bryan Danielson is literally in AEW living his best professional wrestling life that you can possibly live. I almost feel, and this is obviously just me speculating, but I almost feel like there's some sort of agreement between Tony Khan and Bryan Danielson just to have him go out there and have like all of these like dream matches for him, or all of these I don't want to say they're all dream matches because they're not all dream matches, but just kind of like going out there and knocking out all of these different matches. Like, I feel like Bryan Danielson is definitely getting a kick out of this. And throughout this match, this was a fun match for me because these are two guys that they know what they're doing. They were doing so much submission, so much mat work at the top of this. They kind of worked this match a little bit. It wasn't your fast-paced, type of wrestling, but it was a steady performance that for me, I really enjoyed, because my favorite part of this match is that I mentioned that both of these guys are both good, in the technical, in-ring style, right? But the good thing about that, the fun part about that, was that anytime Bryan Danielson did anything in this match, Rocky Romero had a really fun way of countering it in a very unique and creative way. And for me, that's what kind of made this match. We saw them go back and forth, both of them exchanging strikes. You saw Rocky Romero hitting those chops. You saw Bryan Danielson doing the series of the chops and his yes kicks and all of that. So you got to see a lot of that throughout this. We saw an awesome hurricanrana from Rocky Romero off of the steel steps. That was really fun. And then the ending, I've been really, really enjoying the way that Bryan Danielson finishes off his opponents, because the way that he finished off Rocky Romero today is he gets him, he's holding him up by the arms, and he's literally stomping him like right in the face, stomping him, literally killing the man. And then he gets him in the tequila sunrise, and that is how the match ends. Now, even though I loved everything in this match, right? The one criticism that I did have of this was the actual finish, because I think the tap happened so fast, which I agreed it should have happened so fast, but it happened so fast that I I felt like we didn't really get to marvel in the actual finish of this match. So it kind of felt like it came, you knew it was coming the second he got the submission locked in, you knew it was coming, but I did think that the tap came a little bit too fast. But other than that, this was a phenomenal way to kick off AEW Dynamite, and this was the match that I was expecting between Bryan Danielson and Rocky Romero. But we got a couple of super chats I want to get into. This one is from Daniel Zambrano, who says, I'm a huge Chaos Mark and a huge Best Friends fan. They put my peanut butter in my chocolate. Rocky is still top tier. Arm drag is the best. Drag's the best. Thank you so much to Daniel Zambrano for sending in this super chat. I appreciate it. We got another one from Sam Pi Boone, who says, hey Denise, will we see Undisputed Era in AEW to have a match with being the elite group next year? Okay, so we're definitely going to be talking about the Undisputed Era today, because the events that unfolded with Bobby Fish and Jungle Boy and Adam Cole, we will talk about that momentarily. Additionally, they did sort of allude to Undisputed Era in their own way, and we'll talk about that once we get to that there. But I think they're definitely going to have fun playing with the whole Undisputed Era thing. And thank you so much to Sam Pi Boone for sending in that super chat. We have another super chat from Manuel Cifuentes, who says, hey, Denise, what can I say? It feels great to be a wrestling fan and not made fun of my intelligence. Hashtag take my effing money, AEW. Keep up the great work, DWO. Dude, I don't know what to say. I think that for the most part, this was a good show. And we're going into AEW Full Gear. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to so many of the matches, which we'll talk about the lineup later on. But I agree. What can you say? The show was good stuff. Thank you so much to Manuel Cifuentes for sending in that super chat as well. We got another super chat from Doug McLeod, who says, tonight felt like great setups for Full Gear. Got heat on the people who needed it for Saturday. Exactly. And got some wins for some people, i.e. Conti being one of those examples. Good stuff. Thank you so much to Doug for also sending in that super chat. And We have another super chat from Christopher Marino who says, "What's more dangerous, an interview with Tony Schiavone or the NXT parking lot?" Dude, well, technically we had sort of a parking lot brawl today in AEW. So, but yeah, I get your joke. I don't know what's more dangerous, man. People be getting kidnapped in that NXT parking lot. So maybe the NXT parking lot. I don't know. Thank you so much to Christopher Marino for sending in that super chat. We got another one from Diable37 who says, "Have a safe trip to Full Gear. I'm only jealous because you get to listen to Red TV on the flight, Red Taylor's version on the flight. Also, Punk Kingston is my most anticipated match now. If you weren't here for my AEW Rampage show on Friday, I think I talked about CM Punk Eddie Kingston probably for like 20 minutes, man, because that was so freaking good. Going into this card, I thought that the match that I was most looking forward to is Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. And then I really was looking forward to MJF Darby. But now I think that the match that I'm most looking forward to is Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, literally based off of that one whole promo, because damn, that was good. I'm never going to repeat everything that I said last time. You can go back and watch me talk about that for like 20 minutes there. All right, guys, but let's go ahead and jump into this next conversation, this next topic here on AEW Dynamite. Unfortunately, this is the segment of the show. This is the story of AEW where this isn't necessarily the hottest thing on the show. So this one isn't this topic is usually a hit or miss depending on what goes down. This week, it wasn't too, like, usually when we talk about American Top Team and the Inner Circle, we have so much promo work. We have all of that to really digest and talk about. But this time we didn't really have that. But with that being said, so we had American Top Team essentially attack the Inner Circle as the Inner Circle is making their way out to the ring. I'm thinking, okay, good. I'm fine with this. You know, they've been doing so much promo work between them, and it's been some good stuff here and there. Not all great, but some good stuff in there. And I'm thinking, all right, cool. We're getting some violence. I'm cool with that. Whatever. But even though American Top Team does get a lot of heat and a lot of boos, and, you know, the people are into really hating Dan Lambert and American Top Team and all of that good stuff, this one for me is still just the one story on Dynamite where I'm not really that interested. And I've said this a bunch, and this didn't really do anything more for me. I was kind of hoping for a fun brawl, but instead what we kind of got was just a little bit like, ooh, it was a little bit sloppy, but what can you expect? Anyways, we see Dan Lambert essentially give Jericho a horrible power slam right into the table. Not really that good. Then we have Scorpio Sky get on the microphone, and he just says, this is a small piece of what we can do, but at AEW Full Gear, we're going to give you the full thing. Then Ethan Page takes the microphone, and he says that they're going to make sure that Dan Lambert pins Chris Jericho. But he said tonight we're going to make sure that Dan Lambert makes Chris Jericho tap. And so he orders him to put him into the walls of Jericho. And so Dan Lambert puts Jericho into the walls of Jericho. But this is like, for me, this is the one segment, the one AEW storyline where I just can't really take it that seriously. So I tend to tune out a little bit during this. But what did you guys think? Are you feeling the American Top Team story with the Inner Circle, or are you kind of just interested because you're fans of Jericho and you're fans of the Inner Circle? Send in your thoughts, everybody. And we got a super chat from Sean Belanford. Thank you so much to Sean, who says, "Here's hoping you were able to get your hands on a winter coat for Full Gear. Excited for my first AEW pay-per-view." Congratulations on watching your first AEW pay-per-view. They usually, like, their pay-per-views are a little pricey. Not gonna lie, they're a little pricey. However, there hasn't been one pay-per-view where I'm like, oh man, I regretted paying that much. I haven't had that experience. So with that being said, I think you'll get your money's worth for sure, because they really, really stack up these these shows, and there's a lot of stuff that goes down at these pay-per-views. But in terms of my coat, I still have not gotten my hands on a winter coat, but I am going to drive to my mom's house and she is going to lend me a coat, because for those of you who do not know, I am based out in Los Angeles. I live in Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, and I literally wear shorts or dresses every day of my life. I do not wear pants. I do not wear sweaters. I do not own a jacket. It's terrible. But thank you so much to Sean Blandford for sending in that super chat. And I want to get we got some more super chats. Hell yeah. Okay, Brett M says, 2 beat downs in 1 hour of the show. Ugh, everything else, thumbs up. There's always a lot of beat downs. There's always a lot of post-match melees that go down. They kind of toned it down for a couple of weeks on AEW, I feel. Or maybe, I don't know if they toned it down or I just got used to all of the post-match melees. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I may have just gotten used to it, but I feel like it's something we've seen, but in the last, maybe last week and this week, I feel like they've been doing it a little bit more. But we got another super chat from Sean Blandford who says that he'll be at the pay-per-view. Thank you so much to Sean for sending in that super chat. And let's get some comments in here on how you guys felt about the American Top Team and how you guys felt about the Jericho stuff and just all of that good stuff there. And let's get into Mac Hensley has a comment here. And he says, this went on too long. They had to play dead for so long, which I wasn't a fan of. Half decent power bomb, though. I wouldn't even say it was half decent. I think we're reaching. Maybe we're trying to give him credit. Let's give him some credit. Okay, fine. Half decent. Fine. I'll give him that much. Half decent. But yeah, I think they should have just ended it with the attack on the ramp, and that's it. Like all of the other additional stuff that happened in the ring, didn't really need to happen. They could have just ended it there, honestly. They could have just ended it there. And let's go into this comment from Devin who says, not gonna lie, used to wish Guy and Ethan weren't paired up. Now I just wanted to go back to just the two of them. Well, they didn't even really do that much with just the two of them, because the second they got together, they did a little bit of stuff together, and then they went right into this inner circle stuff. Bloody Blues says, the story is for casuals, much like the Mike Tyson and Shaq stuff. I think they turned it around. It got good heat with the crowd, so I don't worry too much about it. I think here's the thing. There's certain things on shows when you watch, some stuff are just not going to be for you. That's going to happen because people like different things. Everybody likes different things. I can guarantee that every single person watching this show right now, where we can't all get on the same page and agree with something, and we all can't get on the same page and disagree with something. There's going to be something that everybody likes that's different no matter what. So this just isn't for me, and it might not be for a lot of other people, but it might be working for some other people. So we'll see. We got a comment from Julian who says, I think the feud is great for Paige and Sky since they get elevated because of it. The heat they have created has been tremendous. Bailey TV says, I think the match itself will be a lot of fun. Question the Mark points out that Lambert has nuclear heat. And that's obviously going to be the payoff is, seeing Dan Lambert essentially get his ass whooped. We got to see something like that happen. We got to see it. All right, everybody, let's hop into our next match here. And before we do, I just want to remind you all that tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be live for the first time ever with none other than Lance Storm, everyone. Lance Storm is going to join me to do AEW Full Gear predictions. On top of the predictions, we're going to talk about the storylines. I'm going to ask him how he feels about certain things, and we're just going to have a good, fun conversation. It's going to be live as always, so you guys will be able to chime in. It's going to be a really good time. But now let's get into this 6-woman tag team match. We had Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, your AEW Women's Champion, and Rebel versus Anna Jay, Ty Conti, and Thunder Rosa. So I'm just going to start off by saying that I liked this match. This match I liked, but it was one of those things where I kind of wish they would have given it more time, because you just heard the 6 women that I named right now. And I think that given the names in this match, you're kind of expecting a little bit of a lengthy little match here. But I kind of felt like they rushed it. I felt like they rushed this one. So we get this match starts off with a nice little tweet tease between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Now we all know the history between these 2 women. So we get that for like a split second, but Britt Baker bounces. She's like, I ain't gonna be dealing with this. She tags in a Rebel immediately, and poor Rebel, she takes like the majority of the beating in this match. She takes a beating from both Thunder Rosa and Anna Jay, who essentially do a little teamwork on Rebel. We see Anna Jay finally kick Britt in the face, and then Britt kicks her with a super kick. That was fun. Then we see a nice crossbody from Thunder Rosa to Jamie Hayter on the outside. But during this, we also had the commercial break, so that kind of took a little bit from it. But in the end, we come back. Ty Conti ends up getting the win here, and that was one of the things where I was like, great, you need to give Ty Conti the win here. Not just her team, but Ty Conti specifically, because she's the one heading into this match with Britt Baker. So you need to gain a little bit of more momentum for Ty Conti. And I don't think that there's a lot of people that expect Ty Conti to defeat Britt Baker. So I feel like giving her this win was definitely necessary. But I think I just kind of wanted to enjoy this match just a little bit longer because I was a fan of all of these women. So I kind of just wanted to see this match go just a tad bit more. But good to have Ty Conti win this match. Thoughts, everybody? Send them in. Let's see what we got here. We got a comment from Major Blood who says, this was definitely a fun match. They certainly teased Rosa Baker and the right person got the pin. Rebel was pretty clearly taking the pin. The Cooch 97 says Thunder Rosa gets a huge pop when she and Britt faced off in the ring tonight. It was a flashback to their great Lights Out match and a preview of their eventual match for the AEW title. Hell yeah, man. Thunder Rosa is hella over. Britt Baker is hella over. And the second you get those 2 women anywhere near each other, you're like, this is good shit, pal. Leonard Aaron III says, I was fine with how this ended. Britt knows that the title match is Saturday. Tonight's not the real fight. I liked how smartly they had the heel champs act tonight ahead of their title belts. Andrew Cook says, I agree, Denise. The ending felt a little rushed. These talented women can do better, though still a good match. And let's go through a couple more comments. This one is from, let's hop into the next topic here because we do got plenty more to talk about. But as we're here, friendly reminder, guys, if you do want me to read your comment, your question, or your statement on the air, please feel free to send in a super chat. Well, you guys can go ahead and send those in, and I will definitely read your comment. Let's move into this next match here. We had Jungle Boy versus Anthony Bowens, and this is becoming one of my favorite things to look forward to. Kind of already was for a long time, but I might as well just say it now. Man, I look forward to like how Max Caster is just going to essentially like bury whoever's in the ring waiting for their opponent because damn, he's been coming up with some really good stuff. Now, I do not think that this one was as good as the one that he did on Bryan Danielson with the whole John Laurinaitis and the releases thing. I didn't think it was as good, but it was still pretty good, like good in a different way. So Jungle Boy is obviously in the ring waiting for Anthony Bowens, and Max Caster goes on about, he starts doing his rap, right? And he closes it out by basically calling out Jungle Boy for leaving his girlfriend alone with 7 guys. And for a second, I thought to myself, what's he talking about? Like, it didn't click for me right away. And then instantly I was like, oh, shoot, Anna Jay and freaking Dark Order. For some reason, when he said 7 guys, my brain went to the restaurant Five Guys. That was the first thing that popped into my head. But anyways, this is a very funny line. I like that. I thought it was a good moment. A good burial. A nice, good burial. I appreciate a nice, good burial. But we got Anthony Bowens essentially chopping the hell out of Jungle Boy. That was nice. This match here, I think kind of had the exact same issue that I had with the women's match in the sense that the commercial took a lot from it because we see Bowens chop Jungle Boy. We see Jungle Boy do an arm drag and then a drop kick on Bowens. Then we go into this commercial break. We come back from the commercial break, and it's very clear that a lot has happened during that commercial. But the second we come back, we see Jungle Boy get him in the snare trap, and then bam, the match is over. Anthony Bowens taps out. Jungle Boy gets the win. So I did kind of feel like I didn't really get to enjoy this match as much as I probably would have hoped, just because I think this one was one of those matches that was definitely hurt by the commercial as well. The placement was a little bit off, but either way, it was an okay, fine match. I'm happy to see Anthony Bowens get some singles action back to back on Dynamite. So good stuff there. And after this, though, we got to talk about what happened afterwards, because after this, after Jungle Boy gets the win here against Anthony Bowens, we see Bobby Fish out of nowhere comes out and attacks Jungle Boy. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? And I made a really dumb joke that kind of got over on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you do, because I post really dumb jokes on there. So if you want to revel in those, you can. But anyway, so we see him hit a exploder suplex into the ropes, and then we see Christian Cage and Luchasaurus run in to try to make the save. And it's later on, or like a couple moments later, that it is revealed that essentially Bobby Fish was sent out there by Adam Cole. So Adam Cole introduces Bobby Fish to the Young Bucks, and Matt essentially reminds Bobby Fish that there's no dispute in AEW. And then it's also revealed that we're going to be seeing Bobby Fish versus Jungle Boy on Rampage. And obviously this was a nod to the Undisputed Era. So there you go. What did you guys think about this? Send in your thoughts. Let's see what we got here. And, oh God, this is a comment from Drew Scott, who says, love how the first seed was planted for the eventual Undisputed Era versus the Elite. Great little tease AEW gave us. AEW has been really good at planting seeds for a long period of time without making it like it's subtle, but not so subtle that you're going to miss it, but not so obvious that you're like, oh, that's super obvious. It's a nice little balance. We got a comment from Michael Jefferson, who says, man, I really hope Kyle O'Reilly signs with AEW. Him versus Danielson was my dream match that we never got in WWE. Undisputed Era versus Elite will be cool, and I want Red Dragon versus FTR forever. Sour Machine Gun says, storyline continuity between promotions is so awesome. Love how they don't try and act like the wrestler's history doesn't exist. Bro, I'm not gonna bring this up right now. Never mind. I was gonna bring something up, but I'm not gonna bring it up. But there's promotions that don't even bring up the history of the wrestler, of the history that happened in the exact same promotion. Read between the lines, everybody. Read between the lines. Leonard Aarons III says, Bobby Fish coming out at the end as a Cole-endorsed mercenary, definitely eyebrow-raising. Fish has got a pass with the Bucks from their time in Ring of Honor. His recent pass with Cole speaks for itself. And yeah, everybody's obviously looking forward to eventually seeing Undisputed Era versus Super Elite. We're looking forward to it. We'll see it happen eventually. It's going to happen. And here's the thing too. They don't need to rush it. That's the thing. This is a major pro that AEW has, okay? A major pro is because they have built so many people up, because they have managed to get a lot of people over with the audience. You have a backlog of things to pull out and stories to pull out and characters to bring together to have feuds. So like, I remember when people were really upset, or not, I'm going to rephrase this. When anti-AEW people were basically calling out AEW for giving away Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki on YouTube. Remember that whole debacle? Remember those people that were upset about that? I was like, why are people mad? First of all, it's not like Bryan, Danielson, Minoru Suzuki was the end game. No, it was like a bonus. And it's not like there aren't a million other stories to tell with Bryan Danielson. There are so many other stories. So that's just my best example that I can think of right now, everybody. All right, guys, let's move into our next topic here. After this, let's jump into Wardlow versus Wheeler Yuta. So Wardlow, it's been a while since we've seen him wrestle on AEW Dynamite. In fact, the last time that we saw Wardlow wrestle on Dynamite was that match that he had with Chris Jericho when he was doing the whole, oh my God, the whole thing that he was doing with MJF, the five what, guys? Oh, I'm blanking on it. You guys know the Greek thing. Okay, somebody fill me in on that. I forgot the word. I'm blanking on it. But the five levels, the five something. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know. Anyway, so Jericho, when he wrestled Wardlow during that match, that was the last time that we saw him wrestle. Thank you. Oh, thank God. Thank you for the chat. 5 labors of Jericho. I knew it started with an L. What? I just couldn't think of the word. I was like, levels? What's the L word? Thank you, Shaljan. The 5 labors of Jericho. Wardlow was one of those labors. Thank you very much. That was back in August. August 11th was the last time that we saw that. So I was like, okay, cool. We haven't seen Wardlow wrestle a match on Dynamite. Cool, I'm here with this. So Wheeler ends up hitting him with a drop kick. Wardlow gets him in the waist lock. Wheeler Yuta gets him in another drop kick, and then afterwards we kind of get a little bit of a botch here from Wheeler Yuta because it looks like he's about to do like an elbow right into a back elbow right into Wardlow, but instead he doesn't kind of get the necessary, like he doesn't get the right movement to land it, so it kind of ends up looking like a very noticeable botch. But afterwards, we end up seeing Wardlow pick up the momentum in this match. We end up seeing him get the upper hand. And so Wardlow hits him with a power bomb. Then he hits him with 2 more power bombs. And then Wardlow ends up getting the win. So immediately after that little botch that we had there from Wheeler Yuta, Wardlow just takes over this match and just like squashes the hell out of Wheeler Yuta. So that was fun to see. The only thing, and I don't know how many people noticed this, but the only thing that kind of had me, with a little bit of question marks, was that Wardlow didn't necessarily get much of a reaction with his win, though. And I thought there should have been a little bit more of a reaction. So that was one of the things that I did notice, where I was like, there wasn't that much of a reaction there for Wardlow's win. So that was one of the things that I did happen to notice there. But after this, we do see the Hardy family office come out. They end up jumping Best Friends and Wheeler Yuta, and then Hardy ends up hitting the twist of fate on through a chair on Orange Cassidy. So that's kind of how that whole segment ends up there. And we got some comments here. This one is from Justin Martin, who says, "Poor Yuta stood on the tracks while the train came through. Wardlow destroyed him." Drew Scott has a question saying, "Do you think Wardlow finally snaps on MJF on Saturday?" Well, we were just talking about planting seeds and all of the seeds that we've been seeing, planted on AEW sporadically. One of those very obvious ones is that there has been tension between MJF and Wardlow. They're not necessarily, besties. I mean, they're still, a duo, but they've been planting the seeds that Wardlow may just be a little bit fed up with MJF. Now, I don't know if that's essentially going to finally, if he's going to finally snap at Full Gear. I don't know, because part of me kind of wants to see, like, well, here's the thing. I almost feel like maybe he has to, because then it's like, okay, where does MJF go after this? They've been teasing this with Wardlow, so they could, get into something quickly right after that. They could quickly go into MJF Wardlow, or they could kind of just, let it breathe a little bit more and keep planting those seeds until eventually Wardlow has just had about enough. Well, we'll see. It's all about timing there, but we know it's eventually going to happen. We'll see when it happens. All right, guys. And this is a comment from Sour Machine Gun who says, I think they need to start making his turn on MJF more obvious to start getting the people riled up for him to finally do it. That's the thing. Like, that's why part of me doesn't feel like it's going to happen at Full Gear, because all of these, him getting upset at MJF, they've been subtle. They haven't been super obvious. I think there needs to be a more obvious one in order for people to be like, okay, this is going to happen, But we'll see. We'll see. Andrew Cook says Yuta just laid under the ropes for the run in the beating. All right, let's move on, guys. Let's get into really quickly. We had Eddie Kingston and CM Punk brawl in the parking lot. By the time the cameras got there, the wrestlers were pulling them apart. So it was more of a pull apart, which we were seeing. I kind of wish we would have saw a little bit more violence between them. I kind of wish they would have maybe had started the brawl, not so much when they were being pulled apart. But then again, they want to tease us, so that's okay. And given the fact that they had that bomb promo just last week, literally, chef's kiss on that. I'm really looking forward to Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk. Really, really looking forward to it. All right, guys, now let's get into the match of the night. What a lot of people are saying match of the night is, and I have to agree with everybody, this one is Lio Rush and Dante Martin versus Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty. So this was fun. So first of all, this was the first time that we officially get to see Dante and Lio Rush team up here. We get the first time we get to see Lio Rush on AEW Dynamite since making his return to AEW. So good for him. And this was a fun match. And the reason why this was a fun match is because you literally had 4 guys that were just going out there and really showing off their speed and their athleticism and what they can do. When you look at these 4 guys and you just look at the names, right? Automatically, you're going to get a bunch of spots and all of that. In terms of what you expected the match to be, that's what they gave you here tonight. So that's what I liked. I was expecting a bunch of spots. I got a bunch of spots, but we kick off this match with probably one of my favorite interactions, which was between Dante Martin and Lee Moriarty. They're the ones that kick it off for their team during this match. And Jesus Christ, I was so into both of these guys together. They were just like going really fast. They were countering each other in very fun ways. It was very non-stop action. Okay. So that was really fun. And then I didn't realize that these two had already had a singles match on AEW Dark. I did not realize that, but even though they've already had a match on AEW Dark, I'm sorry. But after this, I need to see another singles match, and I need to see it on Dynamite or on Rampage, because after that tease, I need to see it, man. And I could go back and watch Dark. Okay, cool. But nah, I want to see it on Dynamite or on Rampage. Okay. So if by any chance I'm going to manifest this over to Tony Khan, I'm sending over some vibes here. Then we see Lio Rush kind of basically, it was funny because I think during this first portion of this match, you saw Dante Martin get the spotlight. You saw Lee Moriarty get the spotlight, and they had the spotlight, right? But then Lio Rush came in and completely stole their thunder and was like, nah, bro, this is about me. Because he went in there and he was literally just like God, moving all over that damn ring like so freaking fast. Did a nice spinning kick on Matt Sydal. I mean, this guy was energized as hell. He does 2 tope suicidas on each of his opponents, and I don't even know how to say it. He's really, really gets the crowd to a new level of excitement. Like, the crowd was already into this match, but the crowd really popped for Lio Rush here. We then see Dante do a springboard moonsault and gets the win for his team. I think that it was the right call to have Dante Martin get the win. Lio Rush definitely shined out there. He ended up outshining Dante Martin and Lee Moriarty. So giving Dante Martin the actual win, that was good. So overall, in terms of everything that they did for this match, it got Lio Rush over. It got Lio Rush and Dante Martin over as a team, and it also, also got over Lee Moriarty. Like, Matt Sydal, like, I think out of all the 4 guys, he was probably the one that didn't necessarily shine as bright as the other guys, but that's not to take away anything from Matt Sydal. It's just that these other guys kind of brought their A game just a little bit more. So good stuff there. Very, very good match. And I think we got some super chats that I need to read. So we do got a couple of super chats that I need to read, guys. And this one, okay, we got 3 of them. Let me pull them up 1 second. All right. This one is from Amir F, who says, I don't think Wardlow turns on MJF until MJF is world champion. See, but that's the thing, though. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, you know? I'm expecting Hangman Page to have a nice, lengthy run. So given that, like, how long can they go planting these seeds? Like, how much patience does Wardlow have? Man, can you imagine being irritated with someone for like 2 years and then finally snapping? Talk about a very patient man. So I think it might happen before then, but we'll see. Thank you so much to Mira for sending in that super chat. We got another one from Sheldon Jackson, who says, I like how badass Ruby Soho is being the only female wrestler breaking up Punk and Kingston and trying to calm down Eddie. Yeah, I definitely saw her in the mix. I was like, oh yeah, look, Ruby Soho. BTW, speaking of Ruby Soho, I do have an interview with Ruby Soho over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Really fun interview where she talks about working with Britt Baker. She talks about the TBS Women's Championship. She talks about so much. Like, go check that interview out. Doug McLeod hits us with another super chat saying, I wasn't a fan of Leo Rush before tonight. Now I'm a big fan. So I was a fan of Leo Rush because I had seen his work on the independent scene. I've seen him, wrestle in places like PCW Ultra and all of those places out here, in Los Angeles. So that's how I got familiar with Leo Rush. And like, that's how I became a fan of Leo Rush. But obviously, we didn't really get to see, like, if you didn't know him, like outside of AEW, you obviously hadn't really seen much until today. So I think that's fair. Thank you so much to Doug for sending in that super chat as well. And we got another one from Reductive92 who says, when will there be an F4W All-Star stream? There was something similar last AEW pay-per-view with you, Dave, Bryan, Andrew, and Garrett. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was my first and only show that I've done with Dave, and I've done a couple of shows with Bryan now because I've appeared on Wrestling Observer Live. I think like 3 times now or 4 times. I lost count. 3 or 4 times, I think. And obviously, Andrew and Garrett, I do shows with them all the time. I definitely want to do another show with Dave. I would like to do a one-on-one show as well. So I don't know. Maybe I've been brainstorming, and I'm thinking of coming up with a concept and an idea for at least to do a one-off show. So we'll see. I'll probably pitch that eventually down the line when I gain myself, when I gain a little bit more courage and a little bit more confidence. But thank you so much to Reductive92. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can't say anything because I don't know what's been announced yet, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna have one next year, like another F4W All-Star stream. But I can't say much. Because I don't know what's out there yet. We got another super chat from Diable37 who says, standing swanton sunset flip. That is all. Thank you so much for sending in a super chat. And we got another one from the Cooge97 who says, Eddie Kingston's story on Players Tribune was great. Dude, everybody was talking about that. I myself haven't read it yet, but I did listen to Wrestling Observer Live where Bryan and Mike Sempervive were talking about it. So they kind of gave me the run through and the bullet points of what essentially was involved in the story. And man, I was like, hell yeah. Sounds great. The Cooge97, thank you so much for promoting that and for also sending in a super chat. All right, guys. And the question the Mark says, Denise, don't forget about Miro's amazing promo. He kills it every week. Dude, the man, I almost feel bad for the man. His wife doesn't love him anymore ever since he lost the TNT championship. Like, I'm not expecting him to defeat Bryan Danielson, but like, damn, bro, I kind of want to see Miro win just because the poor man isn't being loved anymore. That's just savage. But Miro, once again, kills it with his awesome promo work. Thank you so much to Question the Mark for bringing that out. We got another super chat from AJC. Thank you so much to AJC who says, Wardlow turns on MJF for the AEW Diamond Ring Finals. Wardlow, MJF are the two who and the Battle Royal, calling it now. That could be something. Thank you for putting in this prediction. Now it's going to definitely be living in my brain. So thank you so much to AJC for sending in the super chat. All right, guys, let's get into this next match because this was another good one here. And this was Dax Harwood versus Pac. Damn it, Pac. The bastard Pac. This guy drives me nuts. And you want to know why Pac drives me nuts? Because he's freaking good. He's so freaking good. It drives me nuts. Every time I see him in the ring, I think to myself, how the hell does he do it? How the hell does he do it? You know, like if you really stop and look at everything that he does when he's wrestling, you're just like, shit, dude, are you a rubber band? Like, damn. He's very good. Dax Harwood, he's obviously very good too. Pac is just a little bit more of somebody that I tend to lean more on the Pac side of wrestlers that I like. But either way, this was a very, very fun match. It started off very fun, and they did a lot of cool things, some of which included Dax absolutely killing Pac with a clothesline at the top of this match, them exchanging forearms, and then Pac essentially hitting the Fosbury flop right before the break. And then he literally lands that, and then the camera zooms out and you just see Dax is kind of have like, he has like blood on his chest. I'm not exactly sure where he was bleeding from, but you see the blood as they go into commercial break. Then we see Dax hit a brain buster. He goes for the pin. It ends up being a near fall. He starts to show, you know, some frustration. I really like that because I like when we see frustration out of guys, because it just goes to show, like, for me, when you see that and when they really sell the frustration of not being able to get the win, it kind of, for me, sets the match and takes the match to another level where it's like, damn, what does this person have to do to beat this person? So I enjoy that aspect of things. Pac then ends up super kicking him in the face. Pac then tries to go for the Black Arrow, but Dax stops him before he can. And I really like that because I was really expecting to see Pac hit the Black Arrow there. And I thought that that was going to be the end of it, and it wasn't. So I appreciated that. Pac then suplexes Dax. We see another even better clothesline from Dax that absolutely just kills Pac again. Then he hits him with the Liger Bomb. He goes for the pin. It's another near fall. And then Dax essentially ends up losing at the end, but Pac gets the win. Pac does end up getting the win later on during this match. Then afterwards, we see the lights go out. They go out for just a bit there. And then we see Andrade and Malachi Black. They come out, and along with Cash Wheeler, and they all start to attack Pac. But then Ray Phoenix and Cody Rhodes and Penta, they all come running in to essentially help them out. And they all end up, you know, essentially going at it and brawling inside the ring. So this was very fun. Fun match that led to something that is obviously, you know, has to do with our pay-per-view. Everybody fighting with everybody. Makes sense. A lot of sense. All right, guys, what did you think of Pac versus Dax? All right, we got it coming from Andrew Cook, who says Pac versus Dax was great, suspenseful, so well done, match of the night, in my opinion. You see what I mean? Like, this is the cool thing, that I feel like we had 3 matches that I feel could be match of the night, which was this match here, Pac's Dax, the tag team match, and I know a lot of people probably aren't saying it, but I think we definitely got to put Rocky Romero and Bryan Danielson up there. But yeah, I think Pac's Dax is definitely runner up for sure. Well, for other people, for me, it was still Rocky Danielson. All right, we got it coming from Manaleek34, who says, yeah, I like Dax was making sure to be healthy for the pay-per-view. Makes sense. Tap out quick. You don't want to be, getting hurt right before the pay-per-view. Makes a lot of sense. Bailey TV says, I laughed how Dax was tapping out on Pac's head. Yeah, it kind of threw me off for a second. I don't know why, but when I saw that, I don't know. It took me a second to register the information that I was seeing. Sour Machine Gun says it's criminal. Pac doesn't have golds right now. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Sabak66 says Cody is surrounding himself with all former NXT champions. Michael Jefferson says it's cool seeing Black and Andrade together. Would have been even better if Thea was there. She's in a whole other world, buddy. A whole other world. And we actually have a super chat from Havon the Legend. Nice to see you again, Havon. Havon says, shouldn't Miro beat Bryan if Hangman wins the title as he is a heel? What a great night of wrestling. Is there a recent show in mind with similar quality? Woof. All right, every night for me, as you guys know, I recap pretty much everything. Every night is very different. Like, I recap Monday Night Raw, and that's like a whole different experience within itself. There's a lot of good on the show, but then there's a lot of questionable items on the show. NXT, man, guys, man, I don't know what to say, but those changes have really, really affected that show. And it's caused a lot of people to not be interested in the NXT product, and it is showing. That is a whole other, I feel every day is a whole different world. Then I get into AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, and I feel like this is the only show where everybody is a lot more people are on the same page with stuff they like, stuff they don't like, etc. And then SmackDown and Rampage, SmackDown and Rampage is weird because when SmackDown and Rampage is really, really good, like when both shows do well, it's a good night, man. But when both shows are kind of just there, it could go either way. So it's a very different experience, like all around. But thank you so much to Havon the Legend for sending in that super chat. Heidi Ho 77 sends in a super chat saying, just finished watching Dynamite. This was the best wrestling show I've watched in a few weeks. Good stuff, man. We still haven't even gotten to that finish. Amir F sends in a super chat saying Team NXT 1.5 equal revival, Aleister Black and Andrade. Thank you so much to Amir for also sending in this super chat. All right, guys, let's get into, we just finished talking about Dax and Pac. We got 2 matches announced for Rampage this Friday, which, for friendly reminder, I will not be here on Friday reviewing the show because I will be at Rampage Live. So I will be live tweeting from the actual event. I'm flying out to Minneapolis on Friday. And then, am I flying out to Minneapolis on Friday? Yeah, I'm flying out to Minneapolis on Friday, and Saturday is the show. And then Sunday super early in the morning, I'm going to be doing my post AEW Full Gear show. I'm doing it the following morning because the night before I'm going to be at the AEW Full Gear media scrum. So I'm going to be doing the media scrum. And so I can't do the post show. So I'm going to do the post show the following morning. And I literally got to do my post show before they kicked me out of my hotel at 11 because they didn't let me do a late checkout. So I literally got to do my show before 11. And I don't even know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. But so that's going on. But anyways, matches announced for Rampage include Jungle Boy versus Bobby Fish. We're going to get Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy in a lumberjack match. And then we also have the match announced for the buy-in show. So for the buy-in show, for the AEW Full Gear buy-in show, we are going to get Jamie Hayter teaming up with Nyla Rose to take on Thunder Rosa and Sheeta during the buy-in show. So good stuff there. Before we get into the contract signing, we did have a video package promoting MJF and Darby Allin. Really good promo package where we essentially have MJF saying that he's gotten into Darby's head. Darby basically saying that he can wrestle circles around MJF. That's another match that I'm really looking forward to. But now let's get into this freaking contract signing because this was good stuff, guys. I bloody loved the way the show ended here tonight. So we got a lot. Here we go. Contract signing. Hangman Page, Kenny. Sorry, guys. I was about to say Kenny Omega, obviously, Kenny Omega. But for some reason on my notes, I wrote Kenny Cole. Why the hell? Why the hell does this happen? But anyways, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega. We find out the members of the Elite and the Dark Order are banned from this contract signing. So they're gone. They show them leaving. Good for them. They end the day early, etc. So Adam Page is He gets straight to the point, man. He basically says, the sooner I sign this contract, the faster I get to beat your ass at Full Gear. And he signs the contract. He signs it like a man. He signs it like a cowboy. He shows us what that cowboy shit is. But then Kenny Omega says, obviously, Kenny Omega isn't going to just sign the document and call it a day. That's not what's going to happen, right? So Kenny Omega says, I wish that I can share in the excitement and the enthusiasm as all the rest of the fans. And but this actually makes me really sad because we used to be friends. We used to be partners. And then he starts talking about how this all could have been for Hangman Page, but his failures got in the way of his successes. So then they go back and forth a little bit. Paige then goes on to tell him, like, you know what? You are a liar. You told me nothing but lies. And you once told me that you were proud of me, but you weren't proud of me. You were afraid of me. And then this is where Kenny Omega gets really, really freaking savage. So Kenny Omega, he asked Hangman Page for a handshake. He asks him for a handshake. And he says, let's be men about this and let's shake hands. So Adam Page does it. He shakes his hand, and I'm thinking, oh, this is very strange. I wasn't expecting Kenny Omega to keep his word and actually shake hands with Adam Page. I wasn't necessarily expecting him to keep his word, and he didn't keep his word because as he's shaking his hand, Hangman Page ends up getting jumped by the freaking cameraman, and then it's revealed that the cameraman is Don Callis, and I personally did not see that coming whatsoever. When it ended up being Don Callis, I was like, oh shit, oh okay, like cool, this is fun, this is great, all right, cool, makes sense, cool. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. Moving on. Anyways, so the cameraman is revealed to be Don Callis. Hangman Page gets busted open, all right? So Hangman Page is bleeding his guts out, and Kenny Omega gets his finger like a dang savage, and he starts wiping the blood off of Hangman Page and signing the contract with Hangman Page's blood, okay? With his blood. You don't get more savage than that. And the show ends up closing out with Adam Page thrown on the floor, bleeding buckets. Well, maybe not buckets, but he's bleeding. This was a good way to end the show. It was a good way to end the show. I was really entertained by this. I love the visual of, I love the line where Adam Page brings up the him basically saying that he's proud of him, and then Kenny Omega using that line on him afterwards again as they're shaking hands, and then him getting busted open, him signing the contract with the blood, and then leaving him out there with all of the blood. That was good stuff, man. I think given the story that they've been telling, there was no better way to essentially do this contract signing than what they did here today. So I like this. What did you guys think of the way that they did this contract signing? This is from Leonard, who says, they removed Callis from the match graphic, and we all thought he wasn't going to be there for some reason or another. Then he pops in tonight. Excellent ending. Excellent segment. Smalls Kenobi says, I noticed the cameraman getting into frame, and I thought that was weird. Made total sense after the reveal. I didn't notice that. So good on paying attention to detail because I did not notice that. Brent Williams says this was awesome. Carney Business says Money Go Home show segment. Kenny in particular was great in selling this match and this 2-year arc to new old AEW fans alike. And I want to give credit to Hangman Page because he was furious when he was going off about Kenny Omega being proud of him and lying to him. You kind of saw this very, very angry side of Hangman Page that you don't always get to see. So that was very nice to kind of see him essentially unfold like that. We got a comment from Josh Razuska. So congratulations, Josh did win my giveaway. So congratulations, Josh. He is going to be watching AEW Full Gear for free this Saturday and is also getting a free pizza party or a dinner of his choice. It's really up to him. But congratulations. Thank you for entering the giveaway. Josh says, what a freaking ending. Can't wait for some cowboy shizness on Saturday. And Let's go through a couple more comments here. Let's see what you guys are all saying. This is another comment from Bloody Blues who says, I knew something was up when the cameraman stepped into frame. Totally unprofessional. Why would they need two of them in the same corner anyway? Callous goatee disguised under the mask. Chef's kiss. Okay, so clearly I was not paying attention to detail. Gonna take that off my resume because I was the only person who did not notice that. Riff55 says, one hell of a go-home angle for this match. Fantastic. Havan says, great twist ending that I didn't see coming. And we got a lot of people really interested in how the way this show ended. Really good stuff there. And Var Varusa says, love that Usual Suspects reference. If you got it, then you are a cool person of culture. Cameron Mumford says the Target Center better have their insurance up to date because that building is going to explode when Hangman wins the title. Cowboy shit will rule this Saturday. Oh, hell yeah. I'm so excited. Oh, and I'm going to be there. All right, guys. There you go. That was AEW Dynamite. Thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning into the show. Once again, do not forget to be here tomorrow for my live prediction show with Lance Storm. Lance and I are going to be going over all of the matches. We're going to be sharing our predictions, sharing our thoughts. It's going to be a good time. We're going live at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so make sure to join for that. And then on top of that, I will be back Sunday early in the AM, in the morning, doing a live AEW Full Gear post show. That one's gonna be really fun. Usually all my shows that I actually attend, I feel like those shows go better because, you know, you're obviously there and you get to bring all of this different insight from being at the actual event and, you know, being at the media scrum and all of that. So usually those shows, I feel like there's always so much information to give. So make sure you guys tune in for that show on Sunday. Again, that's going to be really early in the morning, but you guys can watch the replay or you guys can watch it live, whatever you choose to do. Additionally, I will be tweeting and posting so much coverage on AEW Full Gear. So please keep an eye out on that. If you haven't already, you can follow me on Twitter and or on Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo. Do not forget to subscribe to F4W Online here on YouTube. And I will see you tomorrow for AEW Full Gear predictions. Goodbye.